bringing the people behind our food to life.
A lot of people are buying products and staples that they're going to want to use at home, but if you take it home and you find that it spoils in a certain time, or if your flour gets bugs in it, you get very disappointed with the products that you buy. And so you want that product to last so that it's good and wholesome for your family. I think you have to think carefully about what you want to buy in large quantities. For example, if you buy 10, 15 pounds of pears, you're probably not going to use them all at once. Where are you going to store them? Because if you take them home now, leave them in the garage, even in a cool place in the garage, they're going to ripen up in 7 or 8 days, and you've got to use them. So they really need to be stored at refrigerated storage so that they'll be ready for you for your pear pies at Christmas. Winter squash. That is something that stores very nicely for 5-6 months if you store it correctly. It needs to be relatively warm, not really cold. A warm garage is perfect. Dry. Make sure that there's no scratches, or that they're pretty free from any blemishes on them, and you'll have squash in March. There's onions and garlic, which are easy to store if you store them at the right temperatures and the right humidity. Onions, dry, cold. Garlic, dry, cool. So almost every food product's a little different. Potatoes need to be moist, but not too cold. Moist and about 50 degrees. If you don't want them to sprout, the cooler temperatures are okay, but the starches will turn to sugar. Now, if I buy grains and flours, those I'm going to store for a longer period of time. I need to think about, have I had any trouble with insects in my home? Indian meal moth. And if I do, I better take that home, stick it in the freezer for several days, then put it in a airtight container that a bug can't get into it, and then I could store it at room temperature. And so there are some things like that you have to think about. I would just look it up and find out, what do I want and what do I want to store. But don't try and do the whole garden or the whole crops all at once. Otherwise you might be a little overwhelmed.